Hey, this is Brent with Trade Therapy, and welcome to the Trading Couch. We were talking about AMD. AMD was part of our top-down analysis for SMCI last week. This particular chart was highlighted as part of our top-down analysis for NVIDIA in early May. At the time, we still had a key question. Are we looking at reaccumulation here, or are we looking at distribution, and is AMD going to continue to break down here? Now that AMD has bounced 47% from our coverage here in early May and over 80% from the low here in April, we have our answer. But we're going to walk through in this video how to read rotation in real time and how to trade market structure. So let's start with what we saw in May. What we saw was AMD had lost its 200 weekly exponential moving average. That's this blue line right here. We had noticed the cluster of moving averages had rolled over and was now expanding and sloping down. So we didn't know yet if institutions were going to step in and support it here, but we knew that this level would decide it. We saw that there was positive or bullish divergence, but we didn't know if they were going to step in. And so the real key to structural trading is we recognize that this had gotten underneath the previous lows. There is a liquidity pocket here. It got underneath this low right here. So the liquidity grab was successful, but we needed to see institutions step in. So we were prepared for either one of these options. We weren't predicting anything, but we knew that all of the setup was there, and this was a critical point within the chart. And that's what structural trading is all about, being prepared. So what happened? Obviously, AMD did recover. Institutions did step in. This isn't just a bounce. This is a violent move here, reclaiming all of the moving averages, reclaiming the volume shelf and the point of control, which is this dotted white line right here. We do see higher volumes, not as high as some of these volumes from previous runs, but that really tells us that there's still some broad market hesitation when it comes to AMD, because AMD has been a laggard for quite some time. But the structure doesn't lie. This is no longer a hypothetical reaccumulation structure. But that question has been answered. The reaccumulation thesis has been confirmed. The moving averages are now starting to slope up, and the longer averages have flattened. All of this in support of this price move. So this is not the behavior of a top. This is the behavior of something setting up to use this volume shelf here as a springboard higher. And this is really part of what most traders miss. And that's when you see even the laggards reverse this hard, you're not watching retail panic buying. You're watching institutional rotation. And it's really the same institutions that rolled out of the semiconductor space late last year are now rotating back in and buying the dip and moving into risk. It's the same breakout that we've seen in SMH, which is Van Eck Semiconductors ETF. So we're seeing it sector wide. We've been tracking SOXL, SOXS, and we're seeing similar price activity and similar structure supporting this breakout within semiconductors. And so back to AMD here, AMD's not out of the woods. There's still overhead supply. There's these market tops right here within the structure. There are some resistance shelves within the volume profile, but this reaccumulation thesis is no longer hypothetical. The confirmation's in the chart. Now the challenge is going to be, we need to see how price is going to handle these resistance levels and whether or not capital keeps rotating into semiconductors. AMD is set to move from laggard to full participant in this cycle. So it's going to be exciting to watch. If you're serious about trading rotation and not just headlines, this is exactly the process that you should be going through, just like we did. Identify potential accumulation, define your levels that you're watching within the market structure, wait for confirmation, and then don't chase panic headlines. This is how institutions trade. This is why we do clarity every week. If you want the full breakdown, the levels, our entries, our exits, our trade considerations, check out the full clarity art. Thanks for watching. That's all we've got on AMD.